the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. A Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, a lone game on the docket tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Timberwolves looking to even the series at one game apiece before the series moves to San Francisco. 5:30 tip on TNT and Max. Steph Curry out for Golden State with a hamstring strain. The Timberwolves are, 10.5-point favorites. In the NFL, the Panthers reportedly releasing three-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. He was entering the final year of a two-year, $20 million deal. Clowney had 5.5 sacks last season for Carolina. Over on the diamond, the Mariners have now won each of their last 9 series and are 19-7 since April 6th. Got a 3-game cushion over the A's for the American League West lead. They're off today as they return home for a 6-game stand. And the Pirates have fired manager Derek Shelton in the midst of a 7-game losing streak and a 12-26 record to start the season. Shelton posted an overall record of 306 and 440 since taking over in 2020. Bench coach Don Kelly has been named manager. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com. This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny Meringue pie?
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon! Hey, what's crack-a-lackin'? How we doing today?
Good if I can get my headphones on.
That's all right. I'll just talk to Grape Nuts over there.
Yeah. Grape Nuts.
Sabra.
I got roasted this morning by Dirt and Sprague for that, too.
Well, hey,
I mean,
you
you
gonna
earned
come?
it.
You come correct, son.
You campaigned for that, and you got elected.
Your top 5 cereal choices, it continues to be the controversies here. And I do understand it is your top 5.
Yes.
It is, and that is your personal preference.
I'm not asking anybody else to adopt that top 5 as their own personal top 5.
And look, I will say this. Cereal choices and sexual preferences. We don't kink shame here, right? We don't. That's a motto of this show. I'm not going to sit here and tell you your list is not to you, but I'm going to judge you on this, Rust. Again, how I feel about you.
Oh, no, you can judge.
How I feel about you does not change.
This is not a judgment-free zone.
My opinion of you has changed with your top 5 cereal list and having grape nuts at number 3.
I wish I would have had a chance this morning to respond to this texter.
Yeah,
texted about it at the end of Dirt and Sprague. The fact that a grown man is ranking cereals is just plain dumb.
Whoa!
You guys talking about the rankings might be just as bad.
Whoa!
Sorry, cereal talk by anyone over 10 is dumb.
No.
Or you're a stoner.
Lighten up, Francis.
That
It's aggressive.
No way, man. No way, man.
Or who peed in his Cheerios.
Well, that's cereal talk again.
Yeah.
All right. And that listener's going to be very disappointed during the summer. Because
oh, boy. Listicle season, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, not every day's a
You
gem.
know what I mean?
Not every day's a gem in June, all right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gets a little dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got leftovers. You got to reheat every now and then and add a little grape nuts to them.
There we go. There we go.
Are there any grape nuts adjacent recipes?
Well, somebody texted in yesterday that when they were in elementary school, they used to sprinkle grape nuts when somebody would puke in the hallway. So I don't know
like
if that,
kitty litter
because it would absorb it. So I mean, is that a recipe that you're looking for?
Bro, oh God. I can just imagine walking into an auto body shop and there's just like empty boxes of grape nuts. They're like, it does better than kitty litter. You wouldn't believe it.
Seems like it'd be more expensive to go that way. But.
You know,
it's more eco-friendly.
You know, I don't know.
Oh God, it's great.
Okay. Well, we have a new pope Well, the Catholics.
USA, USA, USA.
Yeah, our first American Pope is here. We have got. He's out of Chicago, so you know he loves the Bears. What if he doesn't like the Bears?
Well,
Wait,
we'll have a new pope then very soon.
does that mean this is the Bears' year?
Mm.
Pope Leo XIV. I like
Leo.
this. And thank you, NFL, because had it not been for the National Football League and our Super Bowls being in Roman numerals, I would have had no idea that he is Leo XIV, but it was really quick. I was able to decipher that. XIV in a hurry. Leo XIV, Cardinal Robert Prevost, has been elected Pope, and he has chosen the name Pope Leo XIV. He's 69.
Nice.
There we go. I was
I'm in.
expecting that. Yeah, he's over there in La La Land.
I'm socialing. I'm
He's
sorry.
over there in La La Land. And it only took 2 days before the white smoke came out of the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, no, I'm no Catholic or anything, but I was surprised by that. It seemed quick.
That is quick. It is not the fastest that has ever happened, but they did 5 votes, took 2 days, and they're like, hey, let's go here. 5 of the last 6 of these conclaves have happened within 3 days or less. So,
No kidding.
yeah,
Okay.
this was 2 days, 4 votes. That's pretty quick. Efficiency.
Yeah.
Now, that got me wondering.
If only we could get our government that efficient.
Well, we still seem to be back in the days of Pope Gregory X, right after Pope Clement IV with our government. I went and I looked up the longest conclave.
Okay.
Any guesses?
There's been a couple that took weeks, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
7 weeks.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure there have been. No. Between Pope Clement IV and Pope Gregory X, you would be you'd be looking at 156 weeks there, Bob.
Oh my God!
From 1268
3
to
years.
1271.
Wow.
Well, I mean, think about it.
Well, that's also when the Pope was maybe the most powerful human on the planet.
Yeah, back then, like, they were just sitting there like they didn't have anything better to do.
Well, they were right in the middle of Vietnam there, too.
In
I mean, not geographically, of course, but...
in 1268.
Yeah, you're
Not-
I thought you meant
No,
like
12
December of 68 to December of
Oh no.
71.
No, I'm talking the
like 1,000
year
years ago.
1268 to 1271.
800 some years ago. Gotcha.
Yeah. They didn't have anything better to do. And they're like, hey, we came from a long ways away.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we get this thing right. Now I got to know how long Pope Gregory X was.
I mean, that period of time, you're literally talking about being gently removed from the siege of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about the Crusades. Like that's when I said that you're talking about like the Roman Empire,
Mhm.
church-wise, not the actual Roman Empire, but like the Papal Empire was maybe at its peak.
All right. It took them 3 years to name him the Pope. He was the Pope for 5.
Yeah, those life expectancies were a real nightmare back then.
He's like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
Cut down in his prime.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. He's like, I've been waiting 3 years for this. 5 years later, he gone.
Yeah.
He gone. I'm imagining that's a good run back then, though.
Yeah.
You know, he died between, nobody knows, 65, 66 years old. I guess. An educated guess.
I mean,
on how long
late
that-
60s is pretty good back then.
Dude,
Yeah.
he was living that good
That
life,
was a
man.
regular centenarian darn near.
Yeah, hot damn. So, yeah, there's hot Pope news. People get very into the Pope,
I think my favorite tweet I saw today so far,
but
Chicago produced a Pope before a quarterback that could throw for over 4,000 yards.
oh, not Bears.
And now we got this one. Now he's the Pope.
Man. Yeah.
Truly,
Oh, man.
truly great stuff.
Yeah, this is something.
Do they have like a papal meal? You know, like everybody has like they're like you're
Well,
talking
they're
about
not
like
death row inmates.
well, no. I'm talking about like when you win the Masters, you come back and you have your Masters meal.
Oh,
like
that's a
you
good
can pick the menu.
question.
Like when you're newly anointed pope, does that mean like are we gonna get like some
Chicken Milanese or something.
I was thinking maybe we'll just go full sandwiches with what's the Gardeniera that their own special one that they have in Chicago. I can never remember what the hell it's called. What they put on the sandwiches, their little
Jardiniere?
pepper, their little pepper mix.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I don't know.
Little sausage and peppers.
Yeah, right.
I have no idea.
Maybe
I have no idea what they're called.
Maybe he just goes straight hometown and goes for a good old Chicago beef.
Yeah, I was saying a little Chicago
Yeah.
beef with a pepper mix. That's
Like-
what I'm
I'm
thinking.
gonna have a hot dog.
No ketchup.
We're going deep dish pizza. Some Malort.
Oh, I mean, the Italians would lose their mind over the deep dish. Pizza in Italy, you need like a micrometer to measure the crust. It's very, 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 very thin crust. That might start a new conclave. That's like an affront to God to have deep dish pizza over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
what was it?
lasagna to
The
them.
Napolitano.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man, I like deep dish pizza. I've come around to Detroit style pizza too.
Yeah, no, Detroit style pizza when you get like the not burnt but brown crusted cheese on the edge that gives it the solidity. It's a banger.
Yeah. Boy, we've really I feel like over the last 20 years, all of the different variations of pizza have really come to light. Like we always used to know that there was New York and Chicago style pizza.
The little Lou Malnati's versus Sbarro, right?
Yeah.
My
That
favorite
bright
New York-
shining beacon of deep
My
dish
favorite
pizza.
New York slice.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. I feel like over the last 20 years, though, it's really come to light, and we've really amplified. Like everybody's like, "Wait a minute, did we have different kind of pizza in places? Like there is a Northwest style pizza. There is Connecticut style. There's Detroit.
What's Connecticut style?
Connecticut is like a crisper crust.
Is that like the drier crust?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, and it's a bit more snooty because they drive into town for work.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Here, let me.
It comes with just sarcasm.
It's a unique thin crust pizza, typically coal-fired, characterized by charred crust and limited use
Okay.
of melting cheeses like mozzarella.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
light cheese. Yeah. So there's a lot, and then
But
obviously
you get the darker spots on the bottom, but you also get like the whiter spots too.
that's right.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
right.
No, that's a really good summer pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Who is like the home of the wood fired pizza?
The Rock.
Well, yeah.
That is a place, the Rock Wood Fired Pizza. Yeah,
But I mean, like, who
claims it?
Who
What
claims
region
that?
claims it?
Yeah,
Huh?
because the wood fired pizza, it is like, especially if you're really into it and you do like the hickory or the cherry, like you use the
I
wood
feel like
that
that-
adds.
I feel like that lends more to the Neapolitan style.
Yeah,
The quick cook, the one
Yeah.
it's in there for about 3 minutes.
yeah.
Google AI is they didn't help me there.
Nothing? Alright.
Because it's like they say Northwest, but that's just not true.
I mean, we do a lot of wood fired pizza stuff up here, but
Yeah, we do. Oven and shaker
Yeah.
is a hoity-toity one.
yeah, my buddy owned one out in Newburgh, Honey Pie. It's now a Greek restaurant. It's pretty damn tasty. But they that's where I brought in that lamb stew the other day.
Okay,
That you were like, oh god, not more lamb.
that's exactly what I
Yeah,
said.
I didn't bring it in the studio though.
Yeah.
It was quite delicious. But yeah, there's a couple. What is it? Red Mill, I think, out in Newburgh, Dundee
idea.
area.
No
They're
idea.
a hoity-toity sandwich and wood-fired pizza spot.
Yeah, I feel like wood fire is more geared towards the hoity-toity.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a little pricier. There's probably like 4 or 5 of them
Yeah.
within the Newburgh Dundee range. Which this time of year, the dumb rich from the Northeast are
Yeah.
flocking to
Yeah.
as the vineyards start opening up for all of the drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's always nice when you see like a brand new like G-Wagon in succession with a Bugatti and like an S-Class AMG, and you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Don't usually see those out here on these crappy roads in 99 where if you hit one pothole, you can rip off your freaking bumper.
Got a lot of them, though.
Oh, dude, there's a guy who has a Bugatti Veyron who drives through Newburgh, and I'm like, why? Why would you do this?
Because you have enough money to.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it costs something like $2,000 to change the oil on that thing. Can you imagine just throwing away $2,000 to change the oil?
I mean, you already spent $500,000
On a
on
car.
the car.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know, but-
I think it's the sliding scale of
I
like
know,
how
but it's
much how much we pay to change our oil.
Yeah.
It's the same ratio of what they actually. It's probably less.
Probably less, yeah.
Of what they paid for their car to change the oil.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was watching some guy change the oil on a Lambo the other day. There's 8 oil drain plugs
Why?
to make sure you drain it all out in all the various locations.
Do you think anybody changes their own oil on those cars?
Well, this guy did. That was the thing. He called a dealership for Lamborghini, and they were like, yeah, it's going to be $3,700. And he's like, yeah, no. But I think by doing it himself, I think he voids any and all warranties.
See, but that right there tells me that that man is not wealthy enough to own a Lamborghini.
Right?
Like, I don't know. If you get that kind of car, you better be ready to pay the kind of upkeep.
Yeah, they recorded the phone call to the parts department of like, yeah, I need to get an oil filter for this 2018. I think it was a Aventador, and they're like, what do you need one for? And they're like, oh, we're changing the oil. Like, they typically don't want you to do that. Like, change your own. Like they're like, I think that might be a problem, but he ended up doing it, and I think between the filter and the oil ended up costing him like $300 as opposed to $3,700. He was like, yeah, it was worth it.
Now, I wonder if one of those, if you bought that car new, if that screws up any sort of your warranty.
That's what he said. Voided all the warranty.
Oh, gotcha.
It's all right.
There we go.
It's all right.
Ron, are you paying attention? Nope.
Well, it's hard to hear when you're chomping on those crunchy grape nuts in there.
That's all you
You know,
hear.
just
the crunch of the grape nuts.
It's all that you hear. It takes up all your ear space. That is one thing about grape nuts, that it is hard to eat grape nuts because when you chew, it's like, I can't hear anything.
They're
This
the
is
original
loud.
noise-canceling headphone.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
New Haven style pizza typically has garlic and clams. Do not put
Is that true?
do not put seafood on my pizza, ever.
Is that true?
I do not want shrimp, lobster, clams, mussels, hell, even anchovies. I've done it before.
Anchovies can go right to hell.
I've done anchovies before with a buddy of mine who loved them, and I let him get a pizza with it. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And it was like, oh God, that's strong.
The only acceptable form of an anchovy is in its Caesar dressing.
And even then, it's
Yeah.
gotta be very little.
Yeah.
How can such a tiny little fish be so potent in flavor?
I mean,
I don't know.
Like you can get a rockfish the size of a
Oh, it's like a
Pepperidge Farm knows.
It's like
Because
Manny Pacquiao. He's a little guy. He
Well,
packs a punch,
That's a
though.
little punch, though.
Yeah, he's got a big old right hook on
Seriously,
him.
you can catch like a 50, 40 pound, whatever, 30 pound. I can't remember how big they are. Those rockfish, they're prevalent all over the Oregon coast. But there's almost no flavor to them.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Classic types. Now,
Regional.
that texture is true and false. If you get the red sauce, no. But Pepe's restaurant in New Haven, Connecticut, he's credited with inventing the white clam pie.
Ugh.
So, pizza crust of olive oil, oregano, grated cheese, chopped garlic, and fresh little neck clams. It was first served little neck clams on the half shell at the bar, which Pepe later added to the pizza. But if you get the tomato sauce on it, then you're going your pepperoni. Okay? But, so there is true and false in that.
Well, and then came in both on the text line and Brandon on the YouTube chat.
What do we got?
Altoona style pizza is still worse than everything else. And
What
I
is
just
that?
Googled it and it looks atrocious.
Hit me with it.
Okay, a unique pizza featuring a Sicilian style dough, tomato sauce, sliced green peppers, salami, and a topping of American cheese. Now, that description does not even quite do the pictures of it justice.
Say that again?
Sicilian-style dough, tomato sauce, sliced green bell peppers, salami, and then topped with American cheese.
Gross.
Pizzas are typically cut into squares rather than wedges. Just give it a quick Google image, and you'll be even more grossed out.
All right.
It's awful.
Is this
Oh.
Altoona?
Yeah, that's really bad.
Originating in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, that's
Awful.
terrible. That looks like something that looks like some slop you would get in the elementary school cafeteria.
Yeah, dude. American cheese. Look, I'm pro America.
You watch your mouth.
Look, if you're watching on YouTube, there's literally a sweatshirt behind me that says U.S. with an American flag on it. American cheese sucks.
You suck.
American cheese sucks.
It has its place.
In very few places.
It has its place.
Yeah.
That plastic nonsense, man. Like almost everything.
It's the only one that'll give you that super good ooey gooey though on a grilled cheese sandwich. You know, or if you're making like
I'd still rather go.
even making like a homemade fondue, you get some white American cheese blocks in there. It's got its place.
I'd still rather go pepper jack on the grilled cheese.
I love pepper jack. I'm pro pepper jack.
Pepper jack is my number one cheese.
Yeah, it's great cheese.
It's a fantastic cheese.
Yeah. It's two different kinds.
Mm.
You know? All right, St. Louis style pizza, apparently it's like a cracker like crust. Like you want to talk about crispy crust? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
See?
no idea.
We're learning. All right. Radio? I can't believe actually I can. It wasn't the biggest leap that we've made going from the Pope to pizza.
Yeah, I mean that's a straight line. Chicago.
I mean
that's a pretty straight line.
Chicago Pope.
Look,
Yeah.
we didn't skip any steps there. Chicago pizza Pope. Like that's a
we
straight
got it.
line.
That's it. That's it. All right.
Boy, that segment got away from us.
Basketball?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, just like the game got away from the Celtics
Hey.
again. Danny Dusty on the fan. Well, the Celtics did it again. But this time they didn't miss 45 three-pointers. They blow another 20-point lead to the New York Knickerbockers. And this one was kind of eerily similar to the last one in that the guy who comes up with the final possession in the steal was Mikal Bridges. Just steals it and is like,
just saves it for the opportune moment. Right?
Yeah. Well, if he does this in all 4 games, he may be like series MVP and not score very many points. But as it was last night, they didn't miss 45 threes, but they missed 30. So on the series, the Boston Celtics are now 25 of 100 from beyond the arc.
75 missed threes, an NBA record for 2 games.
Which could make the Timberwolves feel better.
Yeah,
Because they were, 12 of 76?
Yeah.
And that was
that's nothing. That's grape nuts to what the Celtics have done.
Like 24 more threes to miss here.
Yeah. It's a lot
what are you talking about?
If you ask the Rockets, it's capable of missing 27 straight.
Yeah, but 12 of 76, and you have to 24 to equal what the Celtics have done. They would have to have gone 13 of 24 to get to 25 of 100. the Timberwolves still
on pace,
really bad,
on pace,
really stinking bad at shooting 3-pointers. But this was a horrific meltdown by the Celtics yet again, and there are a lot more questions than answers for Boston fans because the last game it was you make a couple threes here, you make a couple threes there, and things are going to be okay. Mm-hmm. Well, when it happens again,
look, man, this game started and I went, oh, it's going to be like that. For those that don't know, the Boston Celtics came out of the gate and beat the ever-living crap out of the Knicks for the first, 8 minutes? I think they had 4 points in the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, it was after one quarter it was 24-13, but yeah, it was.
But they had
bloodbath.
8 points in 8 minutes of action.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, sweet Jesus, this is going to be bad.
But what happened in the fourth quarter?
You got absolutely nothing from Boston and everything from the Knicks.
The Knicks are a diesel engine. They just warm up, they get revved up, and when they get humming, man, they are a tough team to stop.
Josh Hart was the guy in the boat with a bucket in each hand, bailing water for 3 quarters. Because Jalen Brunson was cheeks for 3 quarters.
OG Anunoby was cheeks for a game.
No, they said, oh, that's right, OG can't go left, just play his right hand. That's how that went.
Adjustments.
But Brunson just shot after shot after shot after shot in the fourth quarter. Him and Mikal Bridges showed up big time. And big hat tip to Tibbs. The thing he got criticized for, taking Mitchell Robinson off the floor and not making the team foul him and put yourself in the bonus, he looked at the Celtics and went, no, we're going to keep you on the floor. And the Celtics bought the bait and absolutely went brain neutral. You could see Tibbs was going to put OG back on the floor. But he's like, oh no, they're going to be stupid. They're going to foul him. And they put the freaking Knicks in the bonus with 2:43 to go.
I would have fouled Mitchell Robinson after this.
Knicks since 2003. They only had 13, but they outscored Boston by 2 in the second quarter, and it was a 9-point game at the half with Boston out top as the Knicks. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Holy smoke.
Now you know why you wrap them up early?
Oh no.
Whoa. As dazzling as that score was, this was just the opposite.
Happens, though.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, Reggie. That was quite possibly the worst free throw attempt I've ever seen in my life.
I've seen some pretty egregious ones.
The net didn't even move.
Yeah.
He airballed it so badly, the net didn't even move.
We've seen Shaq do that a few times. We saw Dwight do that a few times. Remember, that's where Hack-a-Shaq came from.
Golly,
Mitch is a 52% career free throw shooter, so he's actually not the worst free throw shooter we've ever seen. He's down there. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you see the volatility there. But the Celtics did what the Thunder did in a sense of like, why are you not running clock? Why are you like intentionally fouling? You're putting the Knicks in the bonus because that was the thing is they were at 2 fouls when they fouled Robinson twice, and then Tibbs goes, okay, now I can take him off because they weren't in the bonus yet. If you're going to do that, you got to do it 3 minutes earlier.
Yeah, you have to be in the bonus. Like, so you do send that guy to the free throw line. They were fouling him. They could have fouled anybody. They could have fouled anybody on the floor, but they didn't. Like Joe Mazzulla is not getting nearly enough of the blame because Jason Tatum is.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear what Joe Mazzulla said about the Mitchell Robinson fouls?
I think we have.
Do we have
it? No, I don't know which one it is.
Okay. Well, long and short of it was he wanted to get Mitchell Robinson off the floor because he was such an impact.
But he was.
But here's the thing: if you were the Celtics, what is your team set up to do? Is it set up to neutralize a heavy-footed rim protector who wants to stay in drop coverage?
No.
Isn't that the guy that you want on the floor?
Yeah, I think it is.
So why the hell are you trying to get him off the floor? I don't care how much impact he's having. Your team, your identity, everything you were set up to do is to keep that dude on the floor as long as possible so you can mercilessly hunt him. That's them admitting that they can't do it.
Mitchell Robinson, though, is plus 32 through 2 games, plus minus. He is...
Oh, yeah, no, he's been incredibly impactful.
He has been incredible. So
but
the
that's
idea to get him off the floor is sound. The execution is poor because he's kind of doing everything else to kind of to keep the Knicks in the game. Look, outside of that, there needs to be this come to Jesus moment that the Boston Celtics have of, hey, guys, take ball to rim.
Mm-hmm.
Don't and drive kick. Yes, that is what we do. But you guys are still talented enough, especially the Jays, to get to the rim. Get to the rim. Do it. Why are we not even seeing that? It's wild.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And that to me is where Joe Mazzulla needs to get a little bit more of the criticism because it's just sloppy right now all the way around. And
they're having an identity crisis. If you're worried, again, yes, Mitchell Robinson has been impactful, but your team is set up.
Mm-hmm.
Your identity is set up to take advantage of him and his prototype as a player. If you are not fundamentally executing that, that is a major problem, and that is a huge reason why they are down 2-0 because they're having an identity crisis. They are not able to be who they want to be with him on the floor, but yet they're designed to be the most effective with a player like him on the floor. That is just two things going against each other that don't make sense, and if the Celtics can't solve for that, they're screwed.
Kristaps Porzingis not being available really at all is also an issue, and this is the weirdest illness. You brought this up yesterday. He got sick in March and came back. He's played, and now it's back again.
He can't get his wind.
But
like he can't breathe. Like,
but how? But why? Like this is why it's so weird. It's like why now?
Yeah,
you were fine. You were fine in the last round.
Even then he was. I guess he was fighting it is what I've heard from Celtics media. But it's like it's getting worse. Like
that's scary.
As a human, like that, I've taken the basketball out of it.
Scary.
It is. It's like this is a very big guy with a very big set of lungs, man. Like it's
weird.
Yeah, it's not great.
And that obviously hurts them. That hurts them big time. All right, let's get to the winners of this, though. Everybody is talking about the defending champs, the Boston Celtics, rightfully so. But the New York Knicks are finding ways to win, and Tibbs is doing an incredible job. That after Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on The Fan, a single game on the docket tonight in the NBA playoffs. Timberwolves looking to even the series at 1 game apiece before the series moves to San Francisco. 5:30 tip on TNT and Max. Steph Curry out for Golden State with a hamstring strain. The T-Wolves are 10.5-point favorites. The Panthers reportedly releasing three-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. He was entering the final year of a 2-year, $20 million deal. Clowney had 5.5 sacks last season in Carolina. The Mariners have now won each of their last 9 series and are 19-7 since April 6th. Got a 3-game cushion over the A's for the American League West lead, and they're off today as they return home for a 6-game stand. Pirates have fired manager Derek Shelton in the midst of a 7-game losing streak and a 12-26 record to start this season. Shelton posted an overall record of 306 and 440 since taking over in 2020. Bench coach Don Kelly has been named manager. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
There's something wrong with the Boston Celtics, but there's something really right with the New York Knicks. They have this ability to just come back and never be out of a game. They're fighters, man. Just like they're in the embodiment of what Tibbs is. And you wonder if and when they are going to run out of gas with Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges each playing 43 minutes, Jalen Brunson playing 38 minutes. But until it happens, they're just going to ride this high, man. They are playing at an unbelievable clip, especially in late game situations.
They are, and I was just looking at this according to Second Spectrum. I just tweeted this out if you want to get the numbers for it and keep track of it. Jalen Brunson leads the NBA playoffs in drives, 150 drives total in the playoffs. Now they played more games, but with those, he is averaging 1.129 points per direct. That is the 77th percentile. So he's in the upper quarter while also leading the league in drives. So that's wildly efficient and wildly a wild amount of volume. If you look at Tatum and Brown, they are both sub 50th percentile. Jason Tatum, sub 40th percentile.
Well, is that just finishing stats, or I mean,
this is points
when you drive
mm-hmm.
and then you kick.
Yeah, it's both.
Duh, they missed 75 3-pointers, and that's not necessarily on them.
No, and I can flip it over to them on drives, though. They're still falling behind, and the Knicks aren't cranking out threes at a historic volume. It's not like Cat has gotten really crazy. Now, OG has had a couple of games on some driving kicks where he's been really successful. Obviously not last night. But what the Knicks have done, and we talked about this after game one, yes, the Knicks still run some drop coverage, but they're doing the thing that, quote-unquote, Boston fans and media are like, oh, yeah, hunt Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson's just switching. They're switching with Jalen Brunson. They're switching with everybody. There's also there's something I want to dive into.
That's where, like, Porzingis would make such a big difference.
Mm-hmm. But if one guy is making that much of a difference for what you're trying to do, how flawed are you? And now, again, better players not having better – we were seeing it with the Cleveland Cavaliers, not having Evan Mobley and Darius Garland. But that's 2 All-Stars and a 6th Man of the Year candidate. Yeah. This is the 5th guy that you're counting on.
Yeah, they're also missing 75 threes in 2 games.
And that part of it is huge. But I want to give the Knicks credit here because not only are they switching, there has been this discussion around the NBA, very similar to the NFL 5-6 years ago, when the offense got stretched to such a point in the NFL that you looked at it and you went, okay, the defense has got to find a way to push back. So we started seeing more 3-high, keeping everything in front of you, making teams drive down the field more. And you saw the pendulum started to shift back to the defense controlling things because big plays just weren't as prolific. You see teams that are starting to run the ball and be more physical as the counter to that. While in the NBA, there's been this like, okay, we have this proliferation of threes and this space and pace and 5-out offenses, all these different kind of things. But how can the defense, like, what is the defensive innovation that can kind of cause us to swing back? And in the late 90s, early 2000s, when you went into a zone defense, the problem was these teams that were still running 2 bigs. If you went zone, the thing you were giving up is probably the offensive glass and your ability to rotate correctly and where you could get beat. How many teams in the NBA right now can spread you out and beat you on the offensive glass?
Well, we saw Denver do it.
To an extent.
Well, they were crushing threes and then had 21 offensive boards. Golden State can do that to you
if they hit threes, but without Steph, it's.
Well, I mean, but that
they can.
They do. Yeah. That's their identity.
But they go small when they do it. They don't go big.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is right now, if you don't have Porzingis and Horford spaced out there and Sam Hauser spaced out there, like you look at this, all of a sudden playing zone doesn't hurt you as much. And so and it's not just a straight up 2-3 or a 1-3-1. There's these kind of amorphous zones where you're it's not anything really new. It's just kind of becoming more in vogue where you have a zone, but you're not going to let Peyton Pritchard rip through the zone on like an Iverson cut and not pass him off and pick him up. You know, when you've got a prolific 3-point shooter, you're going to slide the zone a little bit and you're just going to live and die with the lesser 3-point option while you control the glass.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing these different kind of things that, look, Tibbs has his faults of playing guys too long and maybe not calling a timeout or, you know, being a little rigid on adjustments. Defensively, Tibbs isn't weak there. That's what Tibbs does. And he is saying, you know what? Screw it. We got Mikal Bridges. We got OG Anunoby. We've got real size. We're going to rely on what we have. And if they beat us with what we've got, tip your cap to them and go on.
Yeah.
We're going to switch. We're going to take them away from what they want to do and make them as uncomfortable as we can and not stay rigid to our defensive principles of just like, no, we're a drop team. and it has flustered the Celtics. And the one button that Joe Maz can push is play better. That's the button they need to push because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have just been not good.
Well, yeah, and it's in part of that is go to the rim, don't just look to kick out.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
You've got to become a rim, not even just a rim pressure team. You've got to be a paint finishing team.
Especially when you get up 20.
Twice. Look, there was 2 times in that game, in the first quarter, and then I want to say early in the third. I looked at my wife. I'm like, all right, I'm going to the office. Like I'll keep the game on in front of me because I've got the 3 monitor system, and I started watching film on prospects for the lottery and everything else, and then I slowly started moving from that monitor back to the game monitor, going, okay, back to living room we go. And it's like in the past, Jason Tatum hits a step back 3 when they're up 11, they're up 12, and the TD Garden goes nuts, and it's them stepping on your throat, and it's like, oh, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't done that once this series.
Crazy.
And think about this now. With the Knicks stealing both games, the Celtics have to win 4 out of 5 to win the series.
And they are still favored to win the series.
Which is crazy. Considering what we've seen in these 2 games, and yes, the volatility of getting 2 20-point leads, but they've shown they can't protect it.
Odds to win the series. Series open, Celtics minus 750.
Which is actually lower than I thought it would have.
After 2 games, it has dropped to New York minus 105, Boston minus 115, which means in Vegas's eyes, they feel that the Celtics have a 53% chance of winning the series.
And that's because the Celtics still have Game 7 home. That's why.
Crazy to think about, though.
Think about it, though. The Celtics have to win 4 out of 5. The Knicks have to win 2 out of 5.
Yep. But they won 0 out of 4 in the regular season.
Yep. It sits there.
All right. When art imitates life a little bit too close. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
Check
When art imitates life, Danny. We are still waiting on where Aaron Rodgers is going to play.
Indeed.
And as everything has gone on with Aaron Rodgers over the last few years, my wife and I are doing a rewatch of the show Ted Lasso. And it is eerily similar. Just everybody go and watch season 3 of Ted Lasso. You see they have a player on there named Zava. Okay. He's molded, and the character is based off of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, right? You know, the
Zlatan.
The Zlatan.
Yeah.
Who played for the Galaxy? Is that who he played for when he came over here?
tail end of his career.
Yeah, when he came over to the American tour. But when you watch Ted Lasso now, and you see the way that Zava handles everything, oh my goodness, it is eerily similar to Aaron Rodgers. One, he looks like Aaron Rodgers. Two, he's doing a lot of the same things, where he delays his announcement of where he's going. I could totally see this happening. In the show Ted Lasso, Zava, he goes to one team, he goes to Chelsea to make his announcement. And then while he's at the Chelsea game, he commits to go and play for West Ham, and then ultimately changes his mind. So when they go to announce him at Chelsea, he goes, I'm going to Richmond. And so he ends up playing for Ted Lasso, which is a total non-fit, a la Aaron Rodgers probably going and playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you're like, this does not fit. This does not seem like it is a good fit whatsoever. He says things like when he meets the owner, it's an honor for you to meet me.
Yeah.
100%. The team has no idea what he's doing or where he's going until he does an interview with somebody. Pat McAfee.
Yep. Perfect.
He disappears into retirement to go and tend to his avocado farm. You tell me that that's not Aaron Rodgers.
Ayahuasca.
He has a locker where he takes up the entire corner of a locker room, which most stars do.
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
But he does yoga, burns incense, and has a bell or a gong that he can hit in there.
Perfect.
I'll be damned if you don't watch that show and you don't think that's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with you. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, go and just Google Zava, Z-A-V-A, and Aaron Rodgers. There are side-by-side pictures of it. It's uncanny.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like, we do the whole Simpsons predicting the future thing.
This is Ted Lasso doing it.
Because that final season was in 2023.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the start of Aaron Rodgers, and we going into darkness retreats.
The descent,
and,
as it were.
Yeah, ayahuasca trips and all that stuff. That man is Zava.
Yeah. I mean, look, I have got a certain love and penchant for Zlatan. Do you remember the World Cup commercials?
No.
Oh, you don't remember those? The Nike commercials?
No.
Oh, God, they were fantastic. And it was very much this. Like, oh, what a pleasure it must be for you to meet me.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Zlatan does as the Zlatan does. Zlatan has done that his whole life. Like, it wasn't like a switch that flipped. Aaron's is a switch that flipped. It's a little bit like Zlatan was about that life wholly, totally.
That's who he was.
Always. It was
the whole time.
That ego was what made him great. Do you know what his first touch was as an MLS player?
No.
The first time he touched a ball.
Danny, I'm going to go ahead and say, if you ask me an MLS question, the answer is no.
His first touch, first time he touched a ball in game action in the MLS was on a half volley where he scored from about 45 yards out. Absolutely hammered into the upper third.
I don't know what a half volley is.
So on the bounce.
All right.
So it bounced once and then took it. On the volley is as it's coming in. You
Sure.
Strike it.
Sweet.
But like his greatness, he is greatness personified. Like he could back it up with just unreal, uncanny ability.
Yeah, so can Aaron
Which,
Rodgers.
So can Aaron.
Yeah.
And it is interesting to kind of watch how this whole thing develops, because we talked about this the other day. Art Rooney just keeps saying, yeah, it sounds like Aaron's going to come to Pittsburgh. And I'm like, God, you're basing an awful lot like it sounds like.
He's going to go on the McAfee show and be like, everybody's going to be like, oh, he's going to Pittsburgh, he's going to Pittsburgh, he's going to Pittsburgh. And he's going to be like, I'm going to New Orleans. And we're all going to be like, what? What? Why? I can just, it's so weird. Go watch Ted Lasso season 3. You can see the Zava, and you will see Aaron Rodgers in him. It's wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
No doubt about it.
Everything. And then he'll retire by announcing it to the media that he's going to tend to his avocado farm. Because I bet he has an avocado farm.
I mean, he's a California kid.
Bet he has an avocado farm.
What is the jingle? Avocados from Mexico?
Avocados from Mexico.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
They also grow in California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
They do.
Pretty close to Mexico.
Yeah, pretty close.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Big state, but still pretty close.
All right, so let's get to the other game of the NBA schedule last night.
Holy crap.
Home team finally won.
It was historic.
Home team finally won. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, a lone game on the docket tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Timberwolves looking to even things at one game apiece before the series moves to San Francisco. 5:30 tip on TNT and Max. Steph Curry out for the Warriors with a hamstring strain. The Timberwolves are 10.5-point favorites. The Panthers reportedly releasing three-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. He was entering the final year of a 2-year, $20 million deal. Clowney had 5.5 sacks last season. On the diamond, the Mariners now have won each of their last 9 series. They're 19-7 since April 6th. A 3-game cushion over the A's for the American League West lead. The Seattle off today as they return home for a 6-game stand. And the Pirates have fired manager Derek Shelton in the midst of a 7-game losing streak and a 12-26 record to start this season. Shelton, an overall record of 306 and 440 in Pittsburgh since taking over in 2020. Bench coach Don Kelly has been named manager. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom, call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is Danny and Dusty.
It's not your problem, Doc. You don't have to mix up in this.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
I'm your huckleberry.
The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Thursday afternoon. Thank you for being a part of our day and letting us be a part of yours. 1080 AM, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, twitch.tv/1080am The Fan, and the party people on the YouTube stream, youtube.com/1080am The Fan. What's up, you sickos? How y'all doing?
Indeed.
How y'all doing?
Who doesn't love a good sicko?
I do.
No, that's the same. Yeah, who doesn't?
I prefer them. That's why I associate myself with you two. I do two completely different sickos.
Fair enough.
I mean, there's a variety of
There's
what
Grape
sickos are.
Nut sicko and there's Dexter sicko.
There's a whole prism of sickos.
Yes, it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's a spectrum. It's
I'm-
just
look,
where
I'm-
the light shines off it.
I'm-
It
look-
depends on what you see.
Look, I've been accused of being on multiple spectrums.
Wow. There's so much to unpack from that comment. And I don't think we have enough time, and we have 1 hour and 57 minutes left in this show, and I don't think that's nearly enough.
And I'll just say the final half hour, I'm going to be completely checked out.
Are you?
Oh, yeah, I got my first golf lesson, man. I went to bed last night dreaming about golf.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
No, I was counting swings going to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what I want to work on most here. If we know, like, look.
Oh, buddy.
The instructor that I'm going to work with has a lot.
I don't think you go in there with any preconceived notions on what you think you should have fixed. The best thing that a golf instructor will do is he will say,
"Oh, sweet Jesus,"
from step 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where it needs to start.
Yeah, and I'm genuine. Like I told you the other day, I got bit by the golf bug. It is fully bit. I am fully engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I am not. Well, I can't say that yet. I am not actively looking to play basketball and hurt myself anymore.
Well, you shouldn't.
Golf is going to take over.
Have you seen the what is it called? It's an Instagram of a guy who posted his text chat with his wife.
No.
About him golfing.
No.
Yeah. So it has him taking some shots on the golf course, and his wife, Morgan, says, "How's golf going? If you come home drunk, you're going to have to find a new family. Like, I hope you're having fun with your buddies, but if you breathe that tequila breath on me, if you come home and you can't walk straight, you're sleeping on the couch like you did the other day. It's a shame that I even have to say it, but you can't be trusted any other way."
Wow.
I wonder what he's done in the past to warrant that.
Yikes, dog.
You know what his response was? "I'm not reading that essay."
So couch it is.
Here's where she's wrong, though. That tequila breath, she should not be mad. She should be proud of her husband if he comes back with tequila breath, because that means he had birdie shots, and birdie shots are a great thing, okay?
Or you're me and you drink ranch water on the course.
But most people do it for birdies, all right? They do it for birdies. You get that birdie bottle, and it's a godsend because it tells you did something good.
Yeah, if I were out there, that bottle would never get cracked.
That's the problem is bringing the birdie bottle is that doesn't get touched.
Well, on like a good golf trip, it's good to have mandatory birdie bottles because then the best golfer comes down to your level eventually. Especially if you got 36 in a day. Now, here's the tricky part: slippery slope. To where if it's
a good day for you.
Well, if you're paired up, with him, and it becomes all right, both of you guys need to take the birdie bottle. Well, then things get a little sideways.
A little off. When you go birdie bottles, do you bring a bottle or do you bring the mini bottles?
Oh, for like a boys' golf trip, it is we all go to the liquor store and we get the airplane bottles.
Okay.
And we go that route. Knowing full well that there also is a flask in hand,
Somewhere.
right? Yeah.
What are with these? I was at, I won't name the golf course. What is with these golf courses nowadays saying that you cannot, putting up like posting signs everywhere that you can't bring alcohol on the course?
Well, Danny, here's the thing. Those have always been there.
Yeah, they have been, but they're much more prevalent now. Like
because they know you're coming.
Whoa. Come on now.
Well,
I only do it once a year. Once a year do I get absolutely slammered, which is a nice little segue here.
Did you start this off by saying that you drink ranch waters the entire time?
Well, I'm just saying, ranch waters, not shots. I just have a drink, and if you want to come out to the Fan Golf Classic, you will see me pound an entire bottle of tequila.
It's because of the belligerent golfers that are out there.
Well, and they want to be able to sell you that booze.
Well,
that happens too. The cart girl comes around and it gets bought.
The Oregon Liquor Control Commission makes it mandatory that they do post that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in one hand.
The course did say that the LCC's been cracking.
They're missing out on money, and on the other hand, it's such a liability for them to have people bringing their own alcohol onto a golf course because, then the consumption isn't monitored.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
also most golf courses have like a full-on bar at them now. So come on.
That is true.
I remember back in my old bartending days, working the day shift. I had this party of like 6 walk in. Sit down at a table, and one of them pulled out their brown bag lunch, like in the restaurant. I'm like, "What do you got there?"
It's a bold move.
What do you got there? Well, this is my food. This is my lunch. I'm like, you realize that's what we do here?
Yeah.
I brought the Monster in to the restaurant after the round the other day, and nobody batted an eye on that one. I'm like, is anybody going to be mad at this?
Like at the golf course?
Yeah, we were at the restaurant afterwards.
Yeah, that's that'll happen.
They were like, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, and then my other restaurant job I worked at, we do a brunch on the weekends, and it was never the boss always hated it when people brought in their Starbucks with their to sit down at brunch. It's like, we sell coffee. It's not a latte, but
I think there's a big difference there.
Yeah,
I think there's a big difference there. But I mean, to your point about the brown bag lunch, it's like, would you walk into this bar, sit at the bar, and open up your Busch Light that you pull out of your pocket?
Exactly.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
You wouldn't do that. So what are you doing bringing in the brown bag lunch here?
Yeah.
If you're going to brown bag it, eat it out on the course.
Yeah, and if it's like, I got dietary restrictions, it's like, then why are you here?
Yeah.
Go eat somewhere else.
Do you have gluten-free and dairy-free food?
Well, I think that's important to have
that's
those
what I'm saying.
things.
But if you don't, then I guess in that instance, okay.
Yeah, but most places have something.
Yeah.
Give them a salad. Well, I don't want any salad. Well, tough.
Yeah.
I didn't make you come here.
No. You walked in those doors of your own free will.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's what happened in the Thunder and Nuggets game.
There you go.
We told you everything you needed to know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You won't need to bring your birdie bottles for your local Toyota dealers presents the 11th Annual Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms Golf Club, Tuesday, June 24th. Look, it's a great event. We have a ton of vendors that are out there. Everybody has a grand old time. And Matt's Barbecue will be filling your belly with food after the round. We got Victorico's coming in with the burritos before the morning round for the breakfast burritos. It is awesome. So, plus, by the way, morning round, those breakfast burritos, they take care of your breakfast. They are delicious and they are enormous.
It's the best freaking red sauce / breakfast burrito combination
That's what I'm talking
that
about.
exists. They're that little peppery like smoked whatever they do. I want to buy a vat.
Yeah. So this is a little inside baseball here. Before I started, doing the spots for Victoricos, I sent Victor a video of our refrigerator, which has
The sauce.
the red sauces
Oh,
in
yeah.
there. Like when we go,
Any extras go in the fridge.
they go in the fridge.
Yeah,
and
100%.
they are we have them because they are so damn good.
It's a perfect red sauce.
It is. It really is. Anyways, go sign up at 1080thefan.com. Click on the Fan Golf Classic logo. That's where you can get all the information. Sign your teams up. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic presented by your local Toyota dealers and also brought to you by Henderson and Daughter Window and Doors and Philbrook Law, Accident and Injury Lawyers. Again, details at 1080thefan.com. Click on that link. Sign your team up. Afternoon round is it might be full because I have not heard
Yeah, we had
the latest.
3 left.
There's very, very, very few. So the morning round, it still has some spots available. So you need to sign up. Get in that morning round. You get the breakfast burrito. You get the Matt's barbecue after the round. Trust me, it's an event you want to go to. Go sign up at 1080thefan.com. All right, now
We're only 6 weeks away from it.
6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks. It's fun.
It's going to be a fun 2 days because we have the golf tournament. The next day is the NBA draft.
It is.
Yeah.
It is the NBA draft, and I'm here for that.
It's gonna be appointment viewing on both.
Because, look, we may be celebrating Cooper Flag. I mean, there's a 3.7% chance that we're celebrating.
Only 4 days away.
Now, the NHL
It
draft,
it happened.
The team that won the
New York
NHL lottery was the New York Islanders. They won with a 3% chance. Now, their lottery is a little bit different. It's a little bit screwy and wonky, which I didn't quite understand. But 3% is 3%.
Yeah, their odds aren't as flattened.
Yeah. So here we go.
That's one thing.
Huh?
Since we're doing tangents here, hockey
Yeah.
you have not seen tanking really infiltrate hockey yet.
Because you can't.
I mean, you can just get bad players. You can do that.
Yeah, but you know what? Those guys, they have so much damn pride. Like you're not.
Yeah, but the skill fall off is the skill fall off.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm surprised we haven't gone down
I mean, there are bad teams though.
Yeah, but nobody's been out and out. Nobody has gone Astros. Nobody has gone 76ers. Nobody's done that in the NHL yet. And I'm waiting to see.
Have they, or are we just not really noticing?
Well, I mean, teams like the Oilers were bad, but they were just bad.
Yeah.
And then they stockpiled a couple of the best players in hockey over the course of a couple of
the
years.
San Jose Sharks may be the candidate to.
They could go down that path, but again,
they finished the season losing 11 straight games.
There you go. They also had a
Yikes,
10-year period where they were very good.
Well, yeah, but so have a lot of teams that tank in the NBA. And then
you're not wrong.
The San Antonio Spurs, anybody? They went 20, 50, and 12.
Yeah. That's a lot of draws.
I mean, that's a doo-doo, baby. Doo-doo. All right. Anyways, Thunder. Oh, also, they tanked.
There you go. Transition.
They've tanked, and they've been good, too. Boy, did they drop the hammer on the Nuggets last night. What's the answer for Jokic? 87 first half points. That's it. Danny Dusty on the Fan. How do you equalize the best player in the world? Nikola Jokic went off for 42 points and 22 rebounds. Or 20 rebounds in the first game?
44, 22, 6, and 2.
Good Lord.
Pretty good.
And last night, Nikola Jokic went for 17, 8, and 6.
Wait, 15, 7, and 5 in the first half. The problem is that the Oklahoma City Thunder basically didn't miss.
But here's the thing. How do you neutralize a guy that is just dominating in every sense? You outscore your opponent 87-56. Like 56 points and a half is nothing to bat an eye at. Like,
it's not god awful.
No, you're on pace for 112 points.
Yeah, you're especially in the playoffs, you're fine. But the problem is the Thunder scored an NBA playoff record 87 first half points. They just didn't miss, and it wasn't
That was
just
bonkers.
They were
dude.
17 of 18 from the free throw line. That's the thing, is they got to the free throw line at a crazy rate, but so did the Nuggets. They were 14 of 17, but the Nuggets shot just under 40%, 39.5% from the field, 40% from three. Meanwhile, the Thunder shot 59% from the field and 44% from three. I mean, that's just... And it wasn't like this incredible thing where, like, oh my God, the Thunder or the Nuggets are turning the ball over left, right, and center. They had they had 8 turnovers, which is like 2 more than you want to have.
Yeah.
Like, if you can get through a game 10 to 12 turnovers, look, if you can sub 10, great. But in reality, you're going to have, probably around 12 a game. That's just how it goes. But the Thunder, only 2 turnovers while getting the line, capitalizing on it, making their threes and shooting nearly 60% from the floor. And it wasn't this like egregious thing where the Thunder had 20 more shot attempts in the first half. They did have 8 more shot attempts and 3 more free throws. But you're like, that's 11 shooting possessions.
Mm-hmm.
In 11 shooting possessions and a half, that piles up, especially when you're beating them on threes, you're beating them on free throws, and you're beating them on overall field goal attempts. The math just starts mathing very quickly of like, oh, this is a complete and utter ass kicking.
They scored 106. That's your sweet spot of scoring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot 40% from the three-point line. Get to the free throw line 32 times in the game and shoot dang near 80% from the stripe, where they went 78.1, but it was the 2-pointers kind of doomed them. And
egregious on twos.
The fact that, as you mentioned, Oklahoma City just could not miss and did not miss from the free throw line. 33 of 36. I mean, 3 free throws. Yeah, you're going to take it. That was, if you are David Adelman in the Nuggets, you just kind of throw your hands up and say, dude, they were making some incredible shots too. Was there some broken defensive possessions? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But a team that scores that many points and a half, good on you.
I was like, teams that made comebacks and all this kind of stuff. I'm surprised that Yoke played 30+ minutes because that thing was over.
I think with him, though, he just doesn't care.
Yeah. No,
he's like, I'm going to go.
He's a machine. But it's just like, look, we've talked about these big comebacks, and it was a little surprising when Steve Kerr in Game 6 pulled the Warriors out of the game.
Because they were down 13 with 6.5 minutes to play, which is totally feasible.
We've seen teams come back from 20 in a quarter,
especially
twice, 3 times.
Well, when you have Steph Curry, who he makes 2 threes, and then all of a sudden that game looks completely different.
Yeah. And if anybody else joins him, all of a sudden, ended up working for the Warriors. But I was a little bit surprised that Adelman didn't pull guys earlier, because you look at the minutes played, Yoke's at 32, Murray's at 31, Porter and Gordon are both at 26. Michael Porter Jr. looks like he's playing with one arm.
I feel bad for him.
He looks like he's playing with one arm. Like, look. There's been some questions about MPJ's toughness over the years, but he also has had multiple back surgeries, and it's like that's a killer. But also, you're talking about a 6'10" shooter with a bad wing, and it's like he's not being effective on the glass. He's not being effective from 3. So you're basically relying on him being able to play through the paint and be 6'10".
Yeah,
that's the hope, is that there's enough to get by. And just talking to the folks around the NBA last night after that game, the sentiment seems to be that even though they ended up being, how many fouls they ended up calling? It was 29 against the Nuggets and 24 against the Thunder. It was actually, there's 60+ free throws in this game. They were, in the first and second quarters particularly, when the Thunder put smalls on Jokic, they beat the hell out of him. And they didn't get called for it early. And they just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And being able to if they're going to allow them to do that, that is a way that you can be disruptive and kind of wear Yoke down.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's going to deliver those back. But this is where the Oklahoma City Thunder depth comes into question, is that they've got more fouls and they've got more trustable players. If they're going to be allowed to be super physical, they can run guys off the bench. And even if they put you in the bonus, how many guys attack the rim and get to the free throw line for the Nuggets? It's Russ, Jamal, and to an extent, Gordon and Jokic.
But I thought it was interesting, too, that you mentioned the physicality in that game. In game 1, you had Chet Holmgren in foul trouble, 5 fouls. Isaiah Hartenstein in foul trouble, also 5 fouls. And in this one, you look, Holmgren, not a single foul.
Yeah.
And Hartenstein only had 4 fouls called against him on the night. So that's a big change. Also, Caruso went from 5 fouls to none from game 1 to game 2. And when you're talking about a guy like Caruso, who on the defensive end, he'll body up, be a little pest on you. I mean, those go a long way, especially in the first half of the flow of the game.
And did you see SGA's plus minus?
No, but I'm looking at it right now.
51.
Yeah, is that good?
51
in 30 minutes.
Brother.
That's a pretty eye-popping stat right there.
That's off the rails crazy.
Yeah, is that good?
How much do you take from this game? Is this, the Thunder are fine, they're going to be okay? Or is this just like, okay, we just need to throw this one in the trash?
I think it's a trash game. When a team hits the way that Oklahoma City was, when you shoot 60% from the field and 44% from 3.5, I think that is one where you just go, wipe your hands of it, head back home. You already stole home court. Now you go back to Denver, and you're going to say, okay, let's go to altitude. Let's see how we play there.
Going to be interesting. Well, at least a favored home team finally won.
Yeah. Hey, the first home team to win in the conference semifinals.
Meanwhile, you've got both Eastern Conference teams up against it down 0-2.
Yes.
Yikes, dog.
I'm here for it.
Look, we wanted things
drama
to get weird, and we wanted things to get disruptive. The Pacers and the Knicks coming out of the East would be about as damn disruptive as we've seen in a long time. Listening to Knicks fans and hearing them and seeing them on social media and talking to a few guys last night, they are ready to put Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges' jerseys in the rafters off these 2 wins. If you look, as historic as the Knicks franchise is, and I hate the line the NBA is better when the Knicks are better, it doesn't matter. Shut up. I hate that line so much. But New York fans, we talk about organizations that have been through it. The Knicks haven't been really good in 25 years.
Yeah.
It has been a long time since the Knicks were really everybody's like, Carmelo. I was like, what do they do?
Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yeah. But I mean
that's pretty good.
Don't get me wrong. But even then they were kind of like, this feels it feels like the Blazers Western Conference Finals run.
Well, yeah. I mean, Blazers have been hanging their hat on Western Conference Finals for 33 years now. So,
yeah.
I mean, I can see how a fan base jumps to that conclusion and gets defensive about, hey, we made it to the West Finals.
And they did make 2 NBA Finals.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Not in the last 33 years.
It's like, it's been tough. It's been tough. So let's keep it in the basketball world for our worst day on the web. This is a story that's been picking up momentum on national news. Is this the worst set of neighbors to ever exist? We'll get to that next on our worst day on the web. But first, here's Grape Nuts with a Sports Center update.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club. Good or bad weather, the golf course is always the driest around. Download the Langdon Farms app today to get all the latest news and specials. First on The Fan, a single game on the docket tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Timberwolves looking to even the series with the Warriors at 1 game apiece before that series moves to San Francisco. 5:30 tip on TNT and Max. Steph Curry out for Golden State with a hamstring strain. The Timberwolves are 10.5-point favorites. The Panthers reportedly releasing 3-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. He was entering the final year of a 2-year, $20 million deal. Clowney had 5.5 sacks last season. Over on the Diamond, the Mariners, they've won each of their last 9 series and are 19-7 since April 6th. Got a 3-game cushion over the A's for the American League West lead. Seattle off today as they return home for a 6-game stand. And the Pirates have fired manager Derek Shelton in the midst of a 7-game losing streak and a 12-26 record to start the season. Shelton posted a record of .306 and .440 since taking over in Pittsburgh in 2020. Bench coach Don Kelly has been named manager. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
I'm going to preface this right now by saying this neighbor is about one of the worst types of neighbors I've ever seen in my life. Did you guys grow up with basketball courts at all in your house? Or
what?
a basketball court? You have a basketball hoop?
Yeah. We didn't have to ever worry about this living out in the sticks, though. Neighbors weren't a problem.
My house growing up in Beaverton was on the corner, so putting a basketball hoop there wasn't a problem, other than if somebody had a really errant shot, it could roll down the hill. That was the only issue we ever ran into. But, I mean, I think a lot of people grew up playing basketball in their yards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very, very, very normal thing.
Our hoop is in the cul-de-sac.
Oh, even better.
At our current home.
I think from our front door, we can see 3 or 4 different hoops down the street.
Like, if you've got a cul-de-sac, like, if you go in, I think, in just about any cul-de-sac in the Portland metro area, you're probably going to find at least one basketball hoop.
Yes.
Like, that's just kind of how it goes. That's the gathering ground, as it were. If there's not multiple, then there's one and usually that family is very cool with everybody playing on it. Just don't break it.
If you have a basketball hoop out, you better be okay with everybody else playing on it.
Especially if it's like in the street kind of basketball
if it's
hoop.
on the sidewalk, go ahead and
If
do
it's
it.
in
If
your-
it's in
if
your
it-
driveway,
It's a
no.
little dicier.
But you should be open and willing to, hey, if you want to shoot some hoops, you can shoot some hoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't do any damage.
Just as long as it's not the kids who you think their parents will sue you if they get hurt.
Exactly. Which this feels like these parents or these people would be those people. A family, the Modigs, built a basketball hoop.
Where are we at here?
We're
Where
in
are we?
St. Louis.
St. Louis, Missouri.
And we're in I would say, the nice area of St. Louis, judging by the pictures.
Okay.
There is a very nice area of St. Louis. There's a nice area, and then there's sweet Jesus.
Mhm.
That's how St. Louis is kind of divided.
Isn't that where Clark had him roll up the windows?
Roll them up.
Yep, 100%. And this family put the basketball hoop in for their kids. It looked like they're 9 and 10.
Okay.
And they installed this, I want to say 2 years ago. A year ago, a neighbor moved in and complained about the kids playing in the basketball court on their own driveway. The city came out and they found that the basketball hoop was indeed 6 inches too close to the property line of the other neighbor. Family said, bet. Well, hey, can we get this okay through the city to dig this up and move it in? And we'll gladly cooperate. No big deal. Doing the right thing.
Yep.
Like, if you're off by 6 inches, I think you were probably trying to do the right thing to begin with. You weren't trying to get 6 more inches there, but you were trying to abide by whatever rulings that you have.
Fine. If you guys are saying we're 6 inches too close and this is all that Karen has to stand on, then we will move the hoop 6 inches and we will make sure it's within code.
Cool. She has now since filed another motion and an injunction to prevent the kids from playing basketball in their own yard through the summer months because it is disruptive and dangerous because of the ball that sometimes ends up in their yard.
Stop. Just stop. This is the worst of humanity. Like right now, abroad, what do other countries think of Americans? Fat and dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that kind of what they think of us over here?
Fast food dummies.
We're going to sit there and we're going to tell children not to go outside, exercise, have some fun,
Be kids,
play a sport, enjoy their time in the outdoors because you feel that it's a danger to you that the ball may go into your yard every now and again. Come on.
Adding up to this, so the family, the husband and wife, with the basketball hoop, the woman next door filed a restraining order against the husband, which was dismissed with prejudice.
Stop.
In other words, the judge said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Exactly.
Digging deeper into this last night, I found that the woman who lives next door is a former lawyer.
Oh.
So she is a litigious monster.
The worst kind of lawyers.
Yes.
Right there. Like, those are the ones that it's like, this is the fight that you're going to take up now, is children playing basketball in their yard. I am so done with people like this. Look, when we put our basketball hoop up, we can move it. We roll it out into the cul-de-sac when kids want to play. I'll roll it out if some of the neighbor kids are shooting because there's kind of a tree when we push it back. There's a tree that can get in the way of your shot. So I'll roll it out into the cul-de-sac and kids will shoot hoops. We had one neighbor when we first put it out there that he wasn't a big fan of it, right? Because it was kind of loud. He has come out and been like, I absolutely love now that kids are out here, kids are having fun, they're enjoying being outside and playing basketball. Like, he is actually
come around
and happy that the hoop is there. We also, because we have an HOA, there was new neighbors that moved in on a corner, and they wanted to bring a basketball hoop and put it, kind of do a same situation on the street. It's super dangerous. Like, it is really dangerous because cars come flying around the corner. It's kind of a blind spot if people are coming into the cul-de-sac. So they were told, like, sorry, you can't put up the hoop, which I kind of get in that spot. But guess what? They could come down, use our hoop. They want to bring their hoop down. We'll double hoop this thing. Yeah. We'll double hoop this son of a bee. Their hoop's actually nicer. So I'm actually going to go over there and we'll be like, hey, if you just want to bring your hoop in, I'm good, man. Yeah. Like, we are.
Because you're on the closed side of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, we're on the closed side. And there is something about, like, we just watched The Sandlot in our house. And you see, like, on the 4th of July when they go to the ballpark and they play under the fireworks and all that stuff. That is awesome. And, like, sandlots don't exist anymore because if there's a vacant lot, it's going to get developed really quickly. But when they're running out of the house to go to the sandlot, you see, like, there's a cul-de-sac and they're having the block party. Like, it is one of the coolest things when you can have a block party, everybody is together, or just kids out playing in the cul-de-sac. Like, Nerf gun fights are out there. They'll do, and it looks awful when it happens, but it also makes my heart warm. They'll get the sidewalk chalk out, and it looks like, I don't know, driving down 84 when you're looking on both sides like it's been tagged all over the place, right? But it's the next time it rains, guess what? Gone. It's all gone, and look, kids are outside having fun.
Look, window will get broken every now and then. I played lacrosse, and I used to play wall ball, playing lacrosse at my house. And one time when I had just restrung a new stick, and when you do that, like, you've got a pattern and everything goes with it, but, like, you can get kind of a weird catch point. Yeah. And I had a weird catch on the, like, one of the first couple of throws. I was like, okay, it feels good. And then it caught and it whipped up and hit the window. Broke the window. My parents were mad, but they were like, were you intentionally, like, trying to hit up high? And I was like, no. I was like, I showed them, like, a new stick. And I had to chip in the allowance and all that kind of stuff. But, like, stuff happens.
Yeah.
And, occasionally you get a dent in the car, and when the ball goes wild or a kid stumbles and falls, and that's life. And it sucks. As long as you take care of it, you take care of it. But this isn't like, this person's house isn't getting maliciously damaged. Look, I had some just absolutely ridiculous neighbors when I was growing up. That, like, they were the kind of people. Did you ever see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah.
That they hung from, like, the little thing with the magnifying glass, like, over the they, like, competed in, like, yard competitions. Like, there was never a speck of grass that was ever out of the way. And the way our house was set up on the corner lot, all this stuff was on the other side of the house. But heaven forbid you go anywhere near that yard. It was just epic.
And there is like an element of this where it's like, if your yard is like competition level, which to each their own.
Yeah, look, I'm saying
that's your thing.
That's what they did.
Then, like, every kid in the neighborhood should know. Like,
and if you're the parents that have that, you put a freaking net up.
Yeah,
like you do
whatever
but
I have a
you
feeling
can.
this Karen would,
no matter what,
she would sue because the net now looks
prohibits
terrible.
Yeah, it looks terrible. Prohibits the sunlight or whatever.
Get out of here. But if there is anything that ever happens, like I know that at some point my kids are going to, like, wreck somebody's plant. In this text on the fan text line, I do agree that if a ball goes in their yard and you damage a plant, then you need to go ask to get the ball and offer to replace the plant. 100%. Like, you need, as parents, you need to be ready for that, which it sounds like these parents are, if they're willing to, like, tear up their driveway to move the hoop 6 inches in just so their kids can shoot hoops, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a give and take in all of this. It's called being a neighbor.
Yeah.
I hate neighbors like this.
These are the worst kind of people. These are the Karens that are out there. That, look, when I say that not everybody needs to get smacked in the face, look, you don't put your hands on women, but metaphorically, You want the whole neighborhood to come together and be like, you need to go.
You need to move.
You
ma'am.
need to go.
You need to move.
You need to move somewhere where
Here's what you do.
all of you selfish, put all of those selfish, self-centered monsters in the same neighborhood and let them just go full Joker, break the pool cue, and see what happens.
You know what somebody needs to do?
Mm.
They need to organize a basketball parade through that neighborhood where you get as many damn people as you can just to dribble past that woman's house one day. Just, could you imagine getting like 1,000 people bouncing a basket? Just a parade of basketballs to show the support of this family.
I like that passive aggressiveness. That's right up my alley.
See how many people you can get out there dribbling 2 balls too.
Yes.
Register on the Richter scale kind of a deal.
Yeah, just have a dribble in. Just go in, dribble right past that house, and then everybody goes and shoots a hoop on the neighbor's hoop, which is now up to code, moved in that 6 inches, far enough away from the property
And there's an
line.
injunction filed on their kids, not anybody else.
That's right. We just had a layup line. I don't know what you're talking about.
That would be tremendous. Have a layup line that just like go like it looks like you're trying to get into the Drew League when the NBA is on strike.
Yeah,
just a line a mile long.
That's what I'm talking about.
It'll be really cool. It's too bad there's not an NBA franchise close by. Should have an NBA team show up.
Oh, I caught the neighbor's yard on fire once with fireworks. My buddy and I redid their whole yard because we felt bad. Yeah, good on you.
Yeah.
You probably should. You catch their lawn on fire?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I went around once during the 4th of July in the neighborhood in Wilsonville, and they used to put like these little like 8-inch American flags for the 4th of July in everyone's yard. Me and a buddy scooped up probably 400 of them and planted them in our church pastor's front yard in the middle of the night.
Why?
We were bored. Intrusive thoughts.
In Wilsonville?
Yeah. I was staying over at his house. He lived in Wilsonville.
Oh my gosh, dude.
There was like literally 400 8-inch flags in his front yard. It looked like somebody aerated his grass.
Did the church pastor?
Yeah. Yeah. It was nuts.
So not even like another friend of yours?
Well, no, like
just the church pastor.
No, we had a good relationship with him. Like, I mean, we were around him all the time. Went to Mexico with him every year to go work in an orphanage. Like,
I'm more stunned by your moral compass that you went to church.
I know, right? Hide in plain sight, baby.
Got to see what he's up against.
Yeah, you know. Like I said, it's hide in plain sight.
Did your skin burn when you walked in?
No, man. I got protection.
A little lightning outside.
Yeah, you know.
The
call is
joke.
coming from in the house.
That is a good joke to do to your friends. I mean, we forked a yard, and
I mean,
we would do.
It was 400 or 500 of these things.
We'd mess around.
There were so many.
A bunch of people woke up real mad at you guys for taking all those out of the yard. Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't put them back.
Oh, no way.
No.
Yeah. Well, kids are gonna kid.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun.
Did the pastor have to do it?
I don't know. I should ask him. What'd you do with all those? Remember when we flagged your yard? He looked so patriotic. Be really funny to do that to somebody now, who, especially like somebody who's really anti-Trump. Just put like
just American flag them.
Just 500 flags in their front yard. Be like, see, I wonder
That'd
what
be a
side
choice.
he's on,
Yeah.
Have a little bit of fun with it. All right, that's our worst day on the web. Coming up next, there's been a change in the world of college basketball that mimics that of college football. Are we going to see this come to fruition around the country? Danny and Dusty, the Fan. Well, the Big East is trying to hold on desperately to being the basketball conference of college basketball. The ACC is taking steps to make sure that they can restore their supremacy. Now, the SEC was and has become the apex predator in the world of college basketball, but the ACC is still there. They still have Duke. They still have North Carolina. And if it wasn't for just, well, to be blunt, crapping the bed, Duke probably would have been your national title winner, and the ACC would have run away with the day.
The depth of the Big Ten, or the Big Ten, the ACC has taken a tremendous hit.
Yeah,
like it being the strongest conference in basketball is no longer there. And look, we're just a year removed from North Carolina State being in the Final Four and making an incredible run last year. But when you saw the teams in the tournament, it was kind of Duke, and there was a lot of people trying to convince themselves that Louisville could make a run. And then Clemson?
Yeah, and
it was
North Carolina sneaking in, and it was like, well, what's going on here?
It was a steep drop-off.
Yeah.
It was a steep drop-off in the ACC, which 8 teams used to be like, whoa, ACC must be loaded this year. And it was kind of the SEC of college hoops. No longer is that the case, and they felt a need for big change.
And what they have done is they are allowing member institutions basically to protect one rivalry matchup. And of course, the preeminent matchup in the ACC basketball is Duke, North Carolina, so that one is protected. The other ones that are protected here are going to be Boston, Notre Dame, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Cal, Stanford, Florida State, Miami, Louisville, SMU, NC State, Wake Forest, and Pitt, Syracuse.
I don't like this because Tobacco Road all those teams need to play each other.
Yeah, you need to
have Duke, Carolina, Wake, NC State all play each other.
Now, they will so that one protected matchup is a guaranteed home and home.
Yeah.
That is how this is going to work every single year, kind of a deal. And then there will have a semi-protected, but it'll be 2 games, but it might be 2 home, it might be 2 away. It just roll of the dice.
Say that again. So Duke could play like Wake Forest twice, but both on the road?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
What they're trying to do here is they're going to free up basically 2 slots. They're going to an 18-game conference play. Yeah. And what that does is it allows schools to schedule more preeminent matchups. Now, we have not the preseason, but the pre-conference season tournaments where the big schools all come together. And you're seeing this with the Las Vegas Open, where the winner is getting $1 million. There's one that's still coming to fruition that was also very likely going to be in Vegas, where each player would get $1 million of the winning team. These private pools, and so it's kind of opening some of that stuff up. But it's also because of the way that the monetary model is going. We just talked about this. Duke and North Carolina are the preeminent ACC products. This allows the other schools to play these schools more frequently because of the way the cycle was. It wasn't always there.
Yeah.
In which your payouts are going to be based on TV revenues, or not totally, but that's going to play a part of this. So now it's going to encourage schools, instead of going out and scheduling the App States of the world, the Chattanoogas of the world, to go cross-conference and go play. Like, if Rutgers is going to be a draw, even though the team sucks, because they have 2 potential top 5 picks, because you kind of know year to year what the cycle is going to be. So you go out and you make sure you schedule cross-conference to play them, or to go play a Michigan, or to go play an Alabama if you're not already playing them in the ACC, SEC tournament, or the ACC Big Ten tournament crossovers. So they're encouraging them to go find more marquee matchups to make more money.
That's going to be huge for college basketball as a whole, though, because that's what people want. And this has always been the thing about, what the world of NIL and the transfer portal and the expansion of the tournament. It was always to say, hey, there's some leeway with your regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And in college basketball, they do it way better than college football. They do incentivize you to go and play tough teams, because if you play a tough team on the road and if you lose, it's not nearly as punitive as if you play, with what do they call them? Oh my gosh, they're not their tiers. Quads. The quads, right? Getting a quad 4 win does nothing for you. It does nothing for you. But if you play a bunch of quad 1 games and you don't have to win all of them.
Here's the thing. If you're close, let's say you schedule 4 quad 1 games and you lose all of them by 5 to 7 points. When it comes time for Lenardi and those guys to start looking at that, they're going to go, look, man, they played all comers and they played them to the teeth. And that's more indicative.
At the beginning of the year doesn't indicate what you're going to be at the end of the year, but they were close, and we have a little bit of a measuring stick that we can see because they use things like, the Palm ratings or the Ken Palm and the RPI and the Collie ratings,
and those are all pretty indicative of what a team is.
Yeah, and so when they put all the information together, it makes sense. You also have a way larger sample than in college football. But in college football, now we're starting to see teams go, well, wins matter more than anything else. And we're not seeing teams get incentivized for losing to good teams. No, they should be in college football. I like this for college basketball. I like this for the ACC, too. It's going to be huge for the ACC, not just their fan bases, that every team's going to be able to see everyone else. Because, by the way, 18-game schedule, there's 18 teams in the conference. So the one reason why there's only one protected where you get a home and home is because that would be your one game of the 18.
Yes, and the other part of this is North Carolina and North Carolina State have been playing at home and home since 1953, basically since the ACC as we know it. They will cycle through now. There will be years where they don't play.
That sucks.
That's the one downside. That's why because they went to a 20-game schedule in 2019, I believe is what it was. But with the way things are shifting in the landscape, they're like, let's roll it back to 18.
Open play someone tough.
Open up because there's gonna you saw this with the SEC. Because their conference was so strong, it raised all tides. The ACC saw the exact opposite happen, where the rest of the ACC was so weak that it was like, can we get 3 teams out of this?
Beating
can we
up
get
on
4
Miami
teams?
wasn't helping anybody this year.
And look, the ACC will return back to prominence.
Yeah.
That's
everything is cyclical.
Yeah, but the Big East is sitting there like, yes, good, make this happen, because again, they don't care about football. So who do you think is also going to benefit from this? Because the ACCs, they're going to call the Big East to play St. John's and Providence. And those teams are going to be a part of this, and they're going to get revenue out of that too.
St. John's playing Kentucky this year. Patino.
Back home.
Going back to play Big Blue. That's going to be fun.
I hope he wears a white suit.
That seems like it'd be a white suit game. Yeah. That'd be a fun one.
Don't wear the red suit.
Well, but shouldn't the Pope be wearing the white suit in that game?
Hey, Mark Pope.
Only if it's played in Chicago.
Picked up on it.
No. Mark Pope, head coach, Kentucky.
In the Pope Mobile.
Yeah.
Car dealership has to have that going.
Right? The Pope Mobile?
Yeah. It's a no-brainer.
Like what car are we going with here, Pope Mobile?
Cadillac.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of
convertible.
I was thinking, is there like a bubbly looking car out there?
Yeah. There's several of them.
Doesn't Cadillac have one that has like the whole glass roof? Don't they have an Escalade with like the entire glass roof? Or is that like the IQ or something like that?
I don't know, but the new like VW vans have all glass roofs. Yeah, you do that.
They've already had to do a recall on most of those.
Oh, really?
Because the third row bench seat only has 2 seat belts, and it is technically too wide to only have 2 seat belts.
Oh. You think that the engineering would have gotten the red flag on that before? I don't know. Putting it in production?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's also the same company that invented clean diesel, which didn't exist.
Yeah, clean diesel. I'm like, what? That's like being skinny fat.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a thing.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It's kind of a thing.
It's just less fat.
Yeah.
Just less fat. This happens. Let's keep it in the world of college sports. Is Nick Saban, is he going to be the savior? Speaking of popes, Danny and Dusty, 1080 the Fan.
George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. A Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, a single game on the docket tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Timberwolves looking to even things at one game apiece with the Warriors before the series moves on to San Francisco. 5:30 tip on TNT and Max. Steph Curry, though, out for Golden State with a hamstring strain. That leaves the Timberwolves as 10.5-point favorites. Over in the NFL, the Panthers releasing three-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. He was entering the final year of a 2-year, $20 million deal. Clowney had 5.5 sacks last year for Carolina. The Mariners have now won each of their last 9 series. They're 19-7 since April 6th. A 3-game cushion over the A's for the American League West lead. Seattle off today as they return home for a 6-game stand. And the Pirates have fired manager Derek Shelton in the midst of a 7-game skid and a 12-26 record to start the season. Shelton had an overall record of 306 and 440 since taking over in Pittsburgh in 2020. Bench coach Don Kelly has been named manager. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
More, please. Golf in the Northwest with Jason Swigard is back. Saturdays at 8 a.m. before the Sinner and the Saint on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. Danny Meringue.
I found 2 empty bottles of a particularly decent Chateau Noir Bordeaux 57 in your rubbish.
Dusty Hera.
You went through my garbage?
This is Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app.
I find it particularly offensive that you use them to wash down an order from something called Macho Taco.
And Portland's sports leader, 1080
I would never drink a Bordeaux with a Macho Taco.
The Fan.
It was a burrito machisimo.
Hour 3 here on Danny and Dusty on a Thursday afternoon when listening on 1080 a.m. Watching along on youtube.com/1080 a.m. The Fan or twitch.tv/1080 a.m. The Fan. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this wonderful, wonderful Thursday. It is quite nice out there.
It's a glorious day.
I was looking at the weather ahead of my golf lesson, and I was like, please don't rain, please don't rain, please don't rain. It got pushed back.
Dude, we got Little League games, and it's a mad dash to get all those Little League games in. So I've been a weather hawk lately.
Because it does look, it looks like it's getting pushed out of the weekend for the most part. It looks like we might have a little bit of rain on Sunday.
Dude, tomorrow's going to be dope.
Yeah,
75.
Nice little 75.
Friday.
Did you see what the low was last night?
Yeah, I went running this morning
Holy
because
crap.
That's a thing that I'm doing now.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You
hate running.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It was 39 degrees when I left my house this morning.
Yeah, it was. Well,
I
put the pups out. I want to say at like 2:30 this morning. They bothered me to go outside, and I was like, all right. I've got just the basketball shorts and a t-shirt and my Crocs.
No.
I opened up the door and I went, oh, it was 36.
I was not a fan of it. And I didn't like it.
Yeah. How far are you running?
5.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miles.
Oh.
Yeah. 5K is 3.1
Yeah.
miles. That's what I'm training for.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's my friend's birthday, and he's got
Oh, that's right.
He's got like these Olympic events that we have to do, and one of them's a 5K. The other ones are like pickleball and cornhole.
And you're not going to show up and be the chump.
No, I have pride, and I have a super competitive wife, and you're paired with your wife in these.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, I might get a divorce. But, like, she is the most competitive. Well, I don't know. My son may be creeping up. I might be third in my family competitiveness now. And I have always been competitive. Like, everybody's like, I've always been a competitive person. Like, I like to compete, but it pales in comparison to what my wife and now my son have. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, my wife, I wouldn't have thought she is that competitive, but in the few chances and the opportunities that have arisen, she turns into a different human.
Yeah. My wife is very, like, it scares people.
Yeah. I can see
scares
that. I can
people.
see that from her though.
She's Russian.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so
that's like quite literally in her DNA.
She got that dog in her.
This is maybe a little TMI, but like it emanated with the husband butt smack. You know, you give the wife a little good game as you go through. And one day I bent over and she basically unleashed the fury of every butt smack I ever gave her.
Yeah.
And I went, "What was that?" She goes, "I'm just trying to catch up." And I'm like, what's going on? And ever since that moment, she's gotten a little firmer.
Yeah.
With the good game.
Yeah, I feel like that teeters on that line of might be sick of your ass.
But there's a little fire behind the eyes, a little competition of like,
okay,
because I don't ever like, you know, really smack. I just give her a little, and she, you know.
My wife is more played beer pong with her one time, and she dove for a loose ball.
Oh,
yeah. She accuses me of cheating at the game of Yahtzee, which the tagline for Yahtzee is the ultimate game of chance.
Yes.
And she's like, "You cheated." I'm like, "You saw me roll."
When we do the family,
I don't know what to do here.
We did so my brother-in-law was born in Samoa. He's getting ready to take his naturalization test, become an American citizen. And during Easter, we
America off.
Well, yeah, no, we did. So he has this like 100-question test.
Yeah.
And let me tell you right now, most of you listening, watching, you'd fail it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy test unless you've got like a really grounded U.S. history, civics, you know, education. You've forgotten most of that stuff, or you were never taught it. But it was split up into individuals, and you had to answer a question. If you couldn't answer it, it passed on to the next person. And my wife went full on. What was that? I'm saying on my movie, Big Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You give him all the easy ones.
Hip hop
anonymous.
Hip hop anonymous.
Because the score was being kept, and she did not like where she finished up.
Side note off of that, is Rob Schneider like the last person that's in cinema that is going to be crossing racial boundaries? Because he did that in Big Daddy.
Oh, yeah, that's
where
right.
he was the
Brown
delivery
face.
driver.
Yeah.
Also, 50 First Dates, where his character was hilarious, but he was like
he was an islander.
Yeah, he was Hawaiian in that movie.
God, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I mean,
he was hilarious in that movie.
I feel like it was more recent though that Hank Azaria decided to give up Apu.
Apu, but that started
was
in
the
the 80s.
Yeah.
That started 89, and then he was like, that was more self-awareness on his part, where he's like, maybe I shouldn't be
doing this,
anymore. But Rob Schneider, I mean, he went.
That's very recent, as opposed to what Short Circuit.
Yeah, Short Circuit, where
Fisher Stevens.
Yeah, Fisher Stevens
he has like really apologized for that because
I am standing here beside myself.
Yeah, because
Johnny number 5 is alive,
and that's the thing
I
is
love
like,
that line.
I mean, it was great. He's alive. But no, I didn't realize that as a kid that was not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think I was 10 when that movie came out. Maybe
did like zero.
Short Circuit 2, where he joins the gang. Los locos kick your ass. Los locos kick your face. Los locos kick your balls into outer space.
With the mohawk? Oh, God, yeah.
I'll tell you what, Mom and Dad Hera not too pleased.
Didn't love that song?
Dusty was running around. It's a catchy jingle.
Oh, look.
What do you want me to do?
There's somebody in some ad agency somewhere who's like, son of a... How did I not
What
get that?
do you want me to do? It's a good song.
And I'm pretty certain that was rated PG.
Yeah, well, dude, they drop some S-bombs in The Sandlot,
Yeah,
too.
no, there's like, if you go back to like the original, like when the ratings first came out, it was really just about nudity.
Well, can I say something here? PG is parental guidance.
Yeah.
Which means be a parent.
Yeah.
If Benny the Jet Rodriguez drops an S-bomb when a massive dog jumps over a fence, you know what? Sometimes if a big dog were to jump over a fence and I'm standing next to my kid,
it's probably coming out.
I'm saying the F word, not the S word.
Especially the way that they showed that dog.
Yeah.
That dog looked like it was 280 pounds.
Yeah. And you know what? The parental guidance part of that rating is I need to guide my kid and let him know. Sometimes grown-up words are going to be said. But
Not for you.
Don't say them.
Don't say them.
You know, that's parental guidance.
And if you do, make sure it's not around mom.
I think it was about a year ago where I guess she would have been about 7 then, found a bug on her backpack and went, somebody get that effing bug off my GD backpack.
No.
Wow. It was a good one.
Also, the fan text line, the TAN text line, which that we can maybe go that way with it. You can do it. Was Rob Schneider being like a Cajun?
Yeah, he was Cajun.
Yeah, that was Cajun.
He was Cajun.
Is that appropriation?
Creole. I don't know.
We need to get Edo.
I mean, he's not wearing.
I mean, he did. I mean, he
He's
did
not
have
wearing-
darker skin though.
But he's not like. I don't know.
Do we just think of
No,
do we
he's
just,
acting.
do we just say no because Cajuns are lesser
He was
people?
acting. This one says Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
That was purposeful.
I'm a dude playing the dude described as another dude. Disguised as another dude.
That is the closest thing we have gotten to Mel Brooks.
But yes,
that's what that was.
Yeah, it was.
That was
making fun
a parody.
of itself.
He was spoofing method actors
Yes.
to an extreme in a movie about making fun of actors.
Yes.
All the way from the whole Hollywood community.
You don't go full.
Yeah. And then Tom Cruise even going in on agents. You know,
Yeah. Can we just talk about how Tug Speedman is one of the best names of all time for a made-up actor?
That's a good name.
Tug Speedman is just mwah.
Yeah.
What was Cruise's name?
Les Grossman.
Grossman, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that also hits pretty good.
You know, Texter brings up another one here with Rob Schneider and Chuck and Larry when he was like an Asian rabbi priest. What if Adam Sandler is deliberately trying to get Rob Schneider canceled because he's tired of him being a hanger-on?
Wait, are we going from Adam Sandler being the best friend in Hollywood to the worst?
Because look at all these characters he's making him do.
Yeah.
Well, he's willingly doing them.
Well, yeah, because he's trying to stay relevant.
Well, no, yeah, he probably gets a pretty good check.
Yeah.
That movie money's different, man.
Do you remember when Rob Schneider was a werewolf in The Animal?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Didn't he also kind of play a little bit of a darker skinned individual in the in Grown Ups?
I don't remember Grown Ups.
I don't.
He was
no idea.
Remember, he had the super hot daughters.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, but I just remember that.
I don't remember.
I'm trying to picture this. Remember the scene when they shoot the bow and arrow up in the sky, and they all like are running away from the arrow.
I'm gonna be honest. I've seen Grown Ups.
Only reason it's on the only reason it's on in my
remember a
mind,
lot.
it was like a TNT or TBS thing where it was on after something.
Yeah.
And I was like, meh.
Okay, so we've now seen this both on the text line and the YouTube chat. Is Rob Schneider apparently part Filipino?
He is Filipino and Caucasian.
Oh, so there you go. I'm the idiot.
I didn't know this about
I didn't either. I mean, I don't think of Schneider as Filipino, but shouts to him.
His dad.
Yeah.
Dad's
All right.
last name.
Cool. Well, speaking of last names, Saban.
Those characters were all really funny, though.
Oh, they were.
The 50 First Dates character, hilarious.
Oh, the Islander pirate.
Oh my gosh,
It was
and
Kurt
then
Russell in what was that the movie where he was the
Captain Ron?
It was like Captain Ron missing a chromosome.
I will also go this with 50 First Dates got two amazing role characters in Sean Astin.
Oh God, write it out.
Playing the brother.
Oh God, yeah.
Not steroids.
Steroids.
That's a funny movie.
It is. It's a bit of I would say even slept on, underrated perhaps.
There we go.
There you go.
Look, we learned about Rob Schneider today.
Yeah,
too.
no, I had no idea it was Filipino. Shout out to text line.
50 First Dates, that gets watched quite a bit around our house.
No, it's a good one.
It's a good movie.
It's a good one. There's no doubt about it. It's no Deuce Bigelow.
And there's also the walrus caretaker lady too. She's hilarious in that movie as well.
Oh yeah, the giant German lady.
Yeah, yeah. They're
probably got more testosterone flowing through her than I do.
And then, was it Kevin Nealon who was in the short term the memory loss facility.
Oh yeah, 8-second Bob, 10-second Bob, something like
then
that.
of course you had Aykroyd in there too. Because wasn't it? Didn't they call it like the Callahan Institute or something?
Oh,
If I remember correctly.
little
callback.
revisit to Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it. I like
Okay.
it. There you go. Let's talk Rob Schneider's. All right, let's talk some Nick Saban and the future of college football. Get that next year on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
It's back.
Well, Nick Saban is at the center of it all, and no, not college football, but all of college sports. A article from Ralph Russo of The Athletic. Headline reads, Nick Saban to co-chair President Trump's planned commission on college athletics. And he, alongside Texas Tech Board of Regents Chairman Cody Campbell, would co-chair the commission that President Trump is interested in forming to examine a host of issues facing college sports.
Yikes. Yeah, so apparently the president was down in Alabama for commencement or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he met with Saban, and like he considered an executive order to try and fix college sports, which I don't know if that would have helped, because there's nuance to this. And so he made Saban and then the billionaire who's pumping money in left and right to Texas Tech athletics, like to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars.
The guy cut a $250 million check for an addition onto their stadium.
And this is where he just sold. I think he's an oil dude.
He sold two properties for $10 billion combined.
Yeah, he is
it's crazy money.
Very, very, very wealthy man. But I think that this is actually a good thing for college sports. But I roll my eyes at Nick Saban being in charge of it, because if tampering in the transfer portal is something that is at the top of his mind, he literally has worked for ESPN for 2 NFL drafts and has admitted to tampering in the transfer portal in both of them.
Directly with the player.
He's saying,
named the player.
When I was at Alabama, we tried to get this guy into the portal and he wouldn't do it. That's the problem that you're trying to fix, Nick. Which leads me to believe, would you be at all surprised if there's a little bit of Nick Saban that's like, I need to fix this so like maybe Kirby Smart or anybody else, nobody's ever going to touch what I did at Alabama.
Records.
My dominance.
Pettiness is a good motivator.
It will be Bear Bryant and Nick Saban, and that's where the list ends, because I'm going to make it so we finally do have rules that make sense and that there aren't loopholes that can be exploited. Because, like, look, you want to exploit the loopholes, go ahead and do it, because they're there for you to have your way with it. And, like, Nick Saban, when he's saying we tried to get him into the portal when I was at Bama, he's not saying he did it. This is where the loophole is.
Yeah, well,
is that somebody...
Yeah, we tried.
Somebody in your orbit, whether it is, your agent or a member of a collective that's separate from the university, they reach out to the agent of that player because that player has an agent for NIL, and there is no direct... It's not like Nick Saban called Quinyon Mitchell when he was at Toledo and was like, hey, man.
Be funny if he did.
Enter that portal. That's not... But the loophole that gets exploited is that somebody else does
6 degrees of separation, baby.
To an agent, and they're not talking to the player, right? This is the same thing that has happened. Like, again, if you read anything about recruiting over the last 40 years.
No, not only that, it happens in professional sports, too. Like, this whole idea of,
tampering, the whole tampering thing, right? Recruiting has always been somebody on the outside gets in the ear of a family member or a high school coach that's very well trusted. Like,
or a former high school teammate.
Like, nothing new.
No.
And is it right? No. But at the same time, it's like it's by the letter of the law, but not the spirit of it. And that's where...
Look, man, all these super teams that formed over 10 years in the NBA, all these guys sitting down at the Olympics.
Or All-Star Weekend. Remember, who was Giannis? Oh, it was Giannis and Dame in the tunnel at the All-Star game having a long talk, and it was like, the whispers were there. Oh, my God.
I mean, D. Flanout told me over the years that they talked about how they could do it and what it would take to get him here.
Yeah. Well.
Like, these players, like all these top players, they all talk. It's the same thing with all of the top teams. They're trying to get top players.
Yeah.
It happens in the NBA and the NFL. Like, somebody somewhere reaches out to somebody. Like, in the NBA in particular, most deals that get done, the general managers on each side ultimately agree and sign off on it. but it's some agent somewhere else reaching out to an AGM on another team being like, hey, my guy wants to get out of here, or hey, what do you guys have got some salary cap space. My guy's going to be a free agent in the offseason. What are you thinking about this? And now that's the whole like sanctioned non-tampering period and all that kind of stuff. But all those discussions have already happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you saw contracts being signed 2 minutes after the moratorium. Well, you're telling me you got a 60-page document done in 2 minutes? No.
This is where, it revisits the question or the topic we were talking about yesterday, where like I've talked to several coaches at various levels of college football that say it's a mess right now. And there's no fix for it because the NCAA doesn't want to do anything because they know they can't really do anything. And I don't think the United States government is going to fix anything in this. But you know what? It's going to ramp up the pressure for change. And what's going to happen is the change that will happen is that we have a new governing body that actually has teeth.
It's going to split off.
And they will bite somebody. And at that point,
I have a hard time believing it'll be Bama.
We can fix some things. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they elected Tommy Tuberville to try and fix their sports.
Just saying. Just saying. All right, coming up next, speaking of trying to fix things, the Minnesota Timberwolves have a lot to fix after game one. They play the Golden State Warriors in the last game, reaching 2 games in the conference semifinals. What the hell do the Wolves need to do to get back on track? But first, here's Mr. Nuts of Grape himself, Jeff Rust.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Big's Chicken. Try their smoked and fried wings, tossed with a perfect dry rub and served with a trio of killer sauces. Menus at bigschicken.com. First on The Fan, a lone game on the docket tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Timberwolves looking to even the series with the Warriors at a game each before that series heads to San Francisco. 5:30 tip on TNT and Max. Steph Curry, though, out for Golden State with a hamstring strain. That leaves the Timberwolves as 10.5-point favorites. Over in the NFL, the Panthers releasing 3-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. He was entering the final year of a 2-year, $20 million deal. The Mariners have now won each of their last 9 series and are 19-7 since April 6th. Got a 3-game cushion over the A's for the American League West lead. Seattle off today as they return home for a 6-game stand. And the Pirates have fired manager Derek Shelton in the midst of a 7-game losing streak and a 12-26 record to start the season. He's posted an overall record of 306 and 440 since taking over in Pittsburgh in 2020. Bench coach Don Kelly has been named manager. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Mr. Nuts of Grape from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
The last pair of teams to play their game 2 in the conference semifinals, the Golden State Warriors take on the Minnesota Timberwolves up 1-0. They will be without number 30 himself, Steph Curry. He will be out at least a week with the hamstring strain, the grade 1 hamstring strain. That has caused the folks down in Las Vegas to put this game at a 10.5-point line.
Yikes. That's a big number, man.
That's a monstrous number. Weirdly enough, it's a 10.5-point line. Timberwolves are favored to win 56-44. Reconcile those two things for me. The math says they have a 56% chance of winning, but the line is 10.5. It's like, wait, what?
Does the math take into account Steph Curry not being in?
Yes.
I mean,
that's what I can't. I'm the math is not.
It just doesn't seem like it does.
If it's a 10.5-point line,
because look, the struggles that Minnesota had, they carried over from a completely different series playing a completely different team, which is historically the worst 3-point shooting percentage. Because look, even though the Celtics are 25 of 100 through 2 games, they're still at 25% from 3. The Timberwolves are 12 of 76, which means that they would need to go 13 of 24 from 3 in order to catch the Celtics on percentage. They have been woeful in their ability to shoot the 3 against the Lakers in the game 5, which they won somehow, and then in game 1 against Golden State. If those shooting woes continue, which, I mean, at some point, just like the Celtics, we're going, you got to make something, right? It's incredible to see how far they have just nosedived both of those teams. But something tells me Minnesota's just going to try to go inside. And Edwards not going to settle. Rudy Gobert going to create opportunities for him. Yes. Julius Randle not going to be camping out outside, going to be getting down low. I just don't see it. Naz Reid, too. McDaniels, like, they've got to go inside.
They just finished up shoot around in Minnesota, and Dave McMenamin is literally on the TV screen over your shoulder right now.
And nobody attempted a 3 in shoot around? Because I hope they didn't.
Well, he referenced Chris Finch's line about the tackling, holding, grabbing of Rudy Gobert, and then followed that up with, we're going to have to take justice into our own hands.
Hells yeah.
Look for I keep wanting to say the Wizards, the Wolves, to be a more physical team.
Be in foul trouble tonight.
I hope to God. Like, look, the Denver OKC game, you can just scrap that. There were too many fouls called in that game.
Mm-hmm.
These games have been perfect.
You're talking game 1. Game 1 of Denver OKC, yes.
These games have been perfect. Do not over-regulate the fouls and the physicality. Look, if Draymond and Rudy get trapped into a thing, just tee them up and keep it separate. But let these teams do what they've been doing for the last 3 weeks.
But doesn't that seem like that gives Golden State a chance? Because Draymond Green gets to do his thing.
Oh, he has more leash than anyone. His leash is 10 feet longer because you do it. Look, it's what the Rockets did. It's what Ime Udoka has built his team on, is foul so often and so frequently that they can't call everything.
And Jimmy Butler can then, if you mentioned this yesterday, and it was a great point, Jimmy seems like he's lost a little bit of a step.
Yeah,
right? It's like a half a step.
He's running on just regular unleaded. He's not running on the plus anymore. Still real good. The engine still runs real well, but it's not the high performance super engine that it once was.
But if he can muck it up, then
look, he's a physical strong dude, and he doesn't play the finesse game.
And then Pods, his impact would be
he's a scrappy little guy,
being scrapper.
Pat Spencer has, like, hilarious as it is, like,
lacrosse, bro.
Yeah, he's tough dude. He didn't back away when he got the hard foul.
No,
last game, remember, they got a little spicy. He went chest to chest with guys. Like, look, they're small and they're undersized, but they are scrappy. Gary Payton II. Look, I know Portland fans hate him, and for very good reason. But he's a tough dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's a scrappy, like, there's.
And that is where you get that glimmer of, can the Warriors, the ultimate finesse team, because of Steph?
Yeah.
But that's what
the beautiful game that they play and all that. That's got to go out the window. They need Buddy Hield to continue being a superhero and knocking down threes. And some combination of Pods, Kuminga, Moody basically need to combine to give them 35, 40 points because without Steph, they just don't have an engine outside of Jimmy.
And Quentin Post needs to use his 5 fouls.
Yeah. And knock down threes.
Honestly.
And knock down threes.
Use your 5 fouls.
Yeah.
Shoot some threes. Go.
Look, Kerr is going to have to pull out all the stops without Steph. Everybody knows that.
But here's the thing is they've stole home court. They know it. And does that play a big factor in that 10.5-point line? That's it right there. How many times do we see veteran teams say, hey, we already stole this game. Let's live to play another day. So your 56% chance of the Wolves winning, but a 10.5-point line in Vegas, that might answer your question as to how do we see that discrepancy. You steal home court. That's the intention of going in and playing in the first 2 games. You had afforded yourself the luxury to essentially take this night and say, we're going to roll it out, muck it up. If it falls our way, then great, we're up 2-0. If not, we've already done our job, which is steal one on the road.
And for those wondering, the Timberwolves in the season, and in regular season basketball, playoff basketball, different beasts, they averaged 15 made threes a game. They were a pretty prolific three-point team. And Edwards is not getting the respect that he probably deserves in that. And Edwards led the league in three-point attempts this year. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
I did
he
not
was getting
know that.
10 plus threes up a game this year, and he was shooting 40%. He was Steph Curry-esque this year.
Well, hot damn.
But he's got to put his head down when they're bricking threes, and he's got to do what Donovan Mitchell did. He's got to do what Jalen Brunson did and get to the bleeping rim.
Yeah.
Because that Warriors team is not big enough, not long enough, not strong enough to do what they did to him in the first game, which was basically mute him for an entire half. That cannot happen.
No.
Absolutely, positively cannot happen.
Wow. Yeah, because he played in 79 games.
Mm-hmm.
He led the league in attempts. Steph only played in 70. Mm-hmm. Steph, per game, 11 threes per game.
But look at the total attempts that Anthony Edwards had.
That's crazy, man. I would have never in a million years thought that. That.
He went from a guy who was an okay shooter to a flat-out elite shooter.
Wow.
Yeah.
There were only 3 guys in the NBA that attempted over 10 per game.
Mm-hmm.
Curry, Ant, Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
And the Celtics obviously feed into that.
Yeah, they do. Drive and kick, because number 6 is Derek White at 9.1.
And that's even crazy to think about. That Derek White almost averaged 10 threes a game.
And Peyton Pritchard is 15th, coming off the bench at 7.8.
Off the bench. They get him up, man. No doubt about it. But I'm really interested to see how this game goes. I think Minnesota gets back on track. Look, the game ones across the board, I don't think I could have been more wrong.
No.
Thinking how those games were going to go. The basketball gods, they are throwing nothing but curveballs right now. There ain't nothing down the middle. It's nothing but surprises. So again, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm done being surprised by stuff, but looking at this game and Minnesota looking at the other playoff teams and going, we don't want to end up like Boston. We don't want to end up like Cleveland, and we don't really have the excuse to.
No, not one.
Boston and Cleveland are dealing with some stuff, both with injuries and, old. And then the Cavs, just injuries and choking horribly. The Wolves don't really have any excuses.
No. It was just not making shots.
At all for 2 games.
And a refusal to adjust to get the ball to the one advantage we have, which is big men.
Yes. Remember Rudy Gobert looked like Wilt Chamberlain against the Lakers.
Well, he sure did.
Do the Warriors have anybody that's really going to bother you? I mean, Loon Dogs, don't get me wrong, he's tough. My fellow hip injured man, but
Quentin Post, dude.
There you go. Oof. Look,
what was that noise?
Look, man.
I don't know, dude.
Look, man. Quentin Post, nice little role player. 7-footer comes out, stretches the floor, and if you're a North Carolina basketball fan, you probably hate seeing Quentin Post because he absolutely destroyed North Carolina when he was at Boston College.
Oh, yeah.
But outside of that, you should not fear Quentin Post.
No, you shouldn't. No.
So, coming up, we'll wrap up today's show. Tom Brady had some sage advice for one Shedeur Sanders. Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. I think we need to pivot here because
we got fake news.
We got some fake news. For those that are unaware, a new pope has been named. He's from Chicago.
Pope Leo XIV.
He is the first American pope.
And the Cubs out on Wrigley Field, on the marquee at Wrigley Field,
claiming
it says, "Hey, Chicago, he's a Cubs fan." WGN News interviewed Pope Leo's the 14th's brother, who still lives in Chicago, and he said, no, he is not a Cubs fan. He said, I don't know where this is coming from. He's never been a Cubs fan. He's always been a White Sox fan.
You know what would be the funniest outcome here? Him actually being a huge Cubs fan and his brother's a White Sox fan.
His brother's wearing black and white checkered shirts.
Oh, just think how funny that would be, though. It's like he's trying to, they're trying to celebrate all this. He's like, no, I want to kibosh all this right now.
He's like,
he's a White Sox fan.
He gets way too much credit here. What bigger spoiler would be, what if the 10-28 Chicago White Sox turn it around? Mark the date, May 8th. Pope Leo goes into the big house and he gets the big apartment. Actually, I don't know if he's going to use the big apartment or not. But if he goes and takes over the pontiff, and then he goes and the White Sox win the damn World Series.
Even crazier.
14 and a half games back from when he puts on the big hat.
The new Pope, a graduate of Villanova.
Yeah.
The Nova Knicks. Knicks and 6. Do you know what he graduated from Villanova with? His degree.
I'm gonna go.
It's not religious studies.
I'm gonna go with.
Might be one of the last things you'd figure from a man, in the clergy like this deep.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Communications with a minor in botany.
No, it is in the STEM world. It's a mathematics degree.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I saw already probably the best pun I've seen made about this. He doesn't do sin. He does kos.
Hey!
I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Well, and does this spur perhaps the first 4,000-yard season for a Chicago Bears quarterback?
Yeah, the brother in the interview, he doesn't talk about the Bears. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's a White Sox fan. There's only so much suffering one can handle.
I mean, look, he's busy on Sundays.
Yeah.
All right?
There's that.
Fair
enough.
I don't know if he's got time in his schedule.
During the NFL season, the church services, they seem to move around in time.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to have to do this a little earlier, huh? Maybe he did move to Peru in 1985. So maybe that was so he could get out of the time zone so church would be done by the time the Bears were playing.
And the Bears, 85 Bears.
85 Bears. He wanted to do the old Super Bowl shuffle.
Look, the last time he left, they won a title.
There we go. Now he's moving on.
Bears back
to the Vatican. But Bears are back. White Sox are back. We don't know if he's a Bulls fan or not.
I mean, I feel like if you're a religious man, you can't be a fan of the Bulls because it feels like God hates that team.
Wow.
Just saying.
Jerry Reinsdorf owns both teams, the White Sox and the Bulls.
I think you're picking up what I'm putting down.
I mean, they
did win a World Series, and then they fired everyone and traded everyone away off the roster.
Yeah, I don't.
Shouts to Ozzy.
That was a sad, sad World Series. All right. Well, that does it for us. If you hear that Pope Leo is a Cubs fan, you're wrong.
His brother says false news.
His brother is saying
Fake
no.
news.
White Sox fan. Likes the Sox. All right. Up next, you got 4 hours of power from their mouths to your ears. It's prime time. Ropp is so happy about the conclave. He loves the conclave. I've heard
he came in.
He can't get enough of it.
He came in with his own white smoke.
That's right. That's right. That was his vape. All right. We'll see you Friday from noon to 3. This has been Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Bye. I'm the idiot.
Hey, it's Zook. Spring is here, longer days, warmer weather, so don't wait until your sweating buckets